Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're not listening to the mind of an Terry Smooth. I am the Royal Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucker responsibilities. And this video right here is going to be about the art of mental programming. Now, it's just really the art of programming, but you have to use yourselves, your chakras, your minds, your mind field, your fields of reality, the way you see yourself, your Lucifers, your Jesus, your Crisis, whatever the fuck you want to call these things, your mind, your masculine and feminine, your Adam and Eve, your ability to think and feel, right? These create a field of reality where you can make this shapeless and formless energy. And the more you concentrate on it, you could create a shape and form out of it. And it could condense as a person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation, or image you like to perceive yourself as and want others to see yourself as. You see what I'm saying? Keyword as. Letter A, point of reference for the first time of seeing a vision that may have came from you or others if you were wearing others' characteristics in some way, shape, or form. But like I said, programming. Now, when we start to talk about this, you have to utilize all what I was just breaking down. So you could kind of chalk all up what I was just talking about as your mental realm. Your God body, the body that you as a god or goddess is inside of to float through the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension. And the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension is the subconscious realm, or purgatory, or it's motherfucking in between. It's number 2, or it's the mental realm, whatever you want to call it. So for the most part, that's what the 4th, 5th, and 6th dimension is, because those shapes and forms that you envision goes beyond the 1, 2, and 3rd dimension. Dimensionally speaking, you see what I'm saying? When we start to analyze structures and bases and concepts and how long it takes for things to come into fruition here and things on a percentage level. So when we start to talk about, right, programming. Now, here's the thing. When you start to endure in life, keyword, anything that has the E with it gives energy, but it's something that you fulfill your space with. So it's receiving. So you receive a vision, and then when you push it off, you give it a shape for others who are doing the same thing as spirits to perceive whatever that you're pushing off. So we know anything that's IN or E or internal or dealing with energy is on a receiving end, and it's basically feminine in nature. So for the most part, when you start to talk about everybody and how you program what you're receiving, right? This the thing. When you endure, when you experience, when you deal with internal, when you internally speaking, when something is energizing you, when something is inside, this is something that's dealing with the energy of fulfilling in some way. Now, you have to program that attribute. See, a lot of times when y'all experience or endure or receive something in your life, especially when it comes to something that you think you can't handle, you don't know how to program that substance. So you let that substance program you in a way, or overtake you, or control your life. So you let your experiences and your mind control you as a spirit and control your daughters of men, control your flesh. So your mind end up taking over. And guess what? When this mind is uncontrolled, aka you don't know how to program it, you don't know how to piece out all the channels, then the shit gonna run wild. And it's almost like gonna be a television channel that's static until you get the antenna right, so you can perceive what you're actually experiencing with more clarity. But you can't, so things gonna become fuzzy, like an internal TV screen or a satellite. You see what I'm saying? So for the most part, this dives us right into the concept of you needing to necessarily know how to program. And you as a spirit, if you're going to continuously think that your spirit is the mind, you already fucked up the whole battle, because you're not even going to know where to start to know what to program. And your mind is something that you have to program. And for the most part, you as a spirit thinking that you are the mind, you just going to think you can't program yourself, and you're going to be lost in thought, lost in the Lucifer, lost in the devil, because the devil is the mind, and it will play tricks on your monkey ass, and it will present voices to your ass. So if you don't know how to get back to your godly space, you will be possessed by thoughts and feelings that is not necessarily yours, but these are things that you feel like you have to uphold in order to live accordingly, or to manifest within this magic square, due to the fact of Jewish mysticism and Masonic symbolism and allegory. But that's what the shadow government utilizes. But I'm trying to put you a step ahead of the game. So once we start to talk about the things you are experiencing, I don't care how harsh it is, and I don't care how much it look like you can't handle it. You always supposed to program these things. Now, here's the thing. It's easier said than done because I know y'all like URUEL. You keep saying programming, but how do we do it? Okay, it's being in the mind state of thinking everything happened in your favor. I don't even give a fuck if you just went through the worst scenario in your life. If you could find somewhere in that situation that you could develop a mind state, an Adam and a feeling, an Eve, that you could convince yourself that this happened for a reason and it's actually more beneficial that it happened that way, while you're actually enduring that experience. I don't care how tough the experience is. The tougher the experience, the more you show God in the universe that you have some sustainability and you could be trustworthy with whatever your manifestations encompass. But for the most part, here's the thing. See, it's like the key to lying to ourselves and convincing ourselves that it's no other way if it's something that's beneficial to us, even if we are experiencing a negative situation. Because here's what you need to understand. This is how you created the physical form for you to even be in this realm of reality in the first place. So that's one of our very first magics, our very first natures in some way, shape, or form. The ability to lie to ourselves. Now here's the thing. Don't be a motherfucking fool. Because you could be sitting here coming up with all kind of different extracurricular justifications about why this fucked up situation happened in your life. Where if you're not looking in the mirror and realizing at some degree that you are a fuck up, then you will be utilizing this magic, but this magic could be backfiring on you, and you'll just be perceived as a fool because all the bad things that happen and get ready to happen in your life, you're going to be trying to program it like, oh, this is just happening because it's actually something better for me or another door opening. But if you a fool, you're not a wise spirit, aka you're not looking at your circumstances and previous circumstances to see where you continuously make mistakes and there's things that you may necessarily need to change, then you could be utilizing magic against yourself, jumping into what I'm getting ready to talk about. Because it'll only be an excuse for you to procrastinate. It'll only be an excuse for you not to accomplish. It'll only be an excuse for you to keep convincing yourself why bad shit happened to you and why you're not manifesting, when really it's just you utilizing this as witchcraft against yourself. So keep that in mind also. I'm talking about in the aspect when you're actually going out and striving, when you're actually going out and testing the universe. You're letting God test you. You're testing your willpower. You're going all the way to the ground, feeling like you have fallen, and you're going all the way to the top to actually feel like you actually accomplished something, because you can't feel like you actually accomplished something if you wasn't at the ground base and felt fallen in an area. I don't care what percentage level it is. You could be going to school just wanting to learn mathematics or science or something like that, right? So you feel like you at the ground basis of that. But reason why I'm making that an example, because that's something that humans just bypass because it's small on a percentage level. So you don't get influenced and impacted by it enough for you to feel like you lost it all and you got to do whatever to obtain a level of security again. You see what I'm saying? But it's still that on a small, minute level, because it's something that you got to start on a ground-based level before you could be at the top of that curriculum. You see what I'm saying? So I'm speaking about it in that manner to let you know, as a spirit, don't take nothing for granted. Don't take nothing for granted. I don't care if it's some normal shit every day in your life that you could bypass. Motherfucker, the moment it leave, you'll realize that, goddammit, you ain't know what you had until it left. So keep that in mind also. Don't take shit for granted. Especially if it's been presented in your life. Especially if it's a motherfucker vision. Because if it's a vision, that was given to you. And something in the universe seen it no other way that it can be expressed but through you. And the moment you start to take that shit advantage, motherfucker, who gave you that right? You see what I'm saying? Real shit. Motherfucker recording, try to motherfucker scam likely try to call and stop the motherfucker recording. But like I said, right, getting into programming, this is when you actually are doing things and you actually are experiencing and changing yourself. And these experiences of these trials and tribulations and these rejections and these success energies of you striving for yourself and things of that nature. When you do endure a fork into the road in some way, shape, or form, where you might get blocked, limited in some way, shape, or form based upon a person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation. How you go about that and how you set up your mind to convince yourself that it actually was for the best, right? The more you stay in that energy, you are programming the circumstance and situation to actually play out in your favor. And it always does. The moment you let that energy wash you up out of the current and you go run and hide, the more that you show the universe and gods and goddesses that you can't be trusted with certain forms of visions and energies because you don't know how to program the circumstance right. So they won't be able to count on you in your expression. Like your expression won't be the type of way that they see if they can give you something that if you lose it or you go through a trial or tribulation, you got the mind state that you would give up real fast. You got the mind state that you can't follow through. And to them, that's a setup of a course of events. These are set up in courses of events that's needed to be experienced by an individual to be seen as trustworthy by these gods and goddesses and things of that nature. So keep that in mind also. You know what I'm saying? But for the most part, this puts us all into a circumstance where you have to understand how to program. And any type of situation you endure, program it. AKA, come up with a thought and feeling where you could convince yourself that that absolutely happened for a reason that was actually in your favor. I don't care if it was as bad as you losing a finger. You know what I'm saying? And then for the most part, that puts you into a circumstance where you're building up esoteric substance and energy in the right magnitude for you to experience whatever feeling you forced yourself. You experienced something outside of you to make you feel very differently. But you was the strong spirit to be like, no, I think and feel this happened because of this. And whatever that strong energy fume that you just put out, that when you said this, and it had a whole bunch of energy in that light of you convincing yourself that it was in your favor, that don't do nothing but go into the universe, accumulate, and come back to you as a later week, a later month, or year as a shape and form, a person, place, or thing, circumstance, or situation, or at least a vision or a feeling that if you cling on to it long enough, it'll lead you to that rainbow promised land where it could be gold in the pot at the end of the rainbow, and you could go ahead and kill that leprechaun that tried to steal it from you. See what I'm saying? And it will be that situation. So you just have to be spiritually strong. You know what I'm saying? And I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Goddamn, I've been resting all day, but goddamn, I'm up now, so shit, finna get accumulated and shit like that. Give me a few like hours or whatever like that. Goddamn it, I might not ever go live or nothing like that. I'm gonna give this whole day to chopping it up with y'all and this motherfucker, so we go ahead and get shit straight, and I can go ahead and get things right also and feel comfortable. As far as, you know what I'm saying, get to know a lot of y'all, so I can have what I got going on in my mind too. Y'all need to know all that. Flight boss, bitch. I love y'all from the bottom of my heart. Real shit.